this rabbit hole goes a little bit deep, so buckle up. Um, so I have an identical twin, as I mentioned, but I also was adopted at birth. And growing up, I grew up with Mike and Elisa Courtney. My parents loved them to death. Shout out to them. But being adopted at birth, naturally me being curious, about 4.5 years ago, I actually met my birth mom.
Oh, wow.
And I had a brother and I have a sister. Who's ironically named Alex too. We can get into that too a little bit. So yeah, to say the least, it's a pretty interesting family dynamic. And a fun fact is, I actually have 2 birth certificates with 2 different names, and I'm a twin, so it gets pretty deep.
Wow. Welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. We sit down with people building real impact in their communities and unpack the vision behind their work. If you care about real stories and real connection, you're in the right place. Let's make some noise. Today's episode of the Ill Noise Business Playbook is brought to you by No Sugar Mama. Founder Lori Urbancic creates delicious desserts made without added sugars, proving you don't have to give up flavor to enjoy a treat. Through her business and community involvement, Lori is helping people rethink what healthier sweets can look like. Learn more about No Sugar Mama in the episode description. All right, welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. I'm here with Alex from Twice is Fit Squared. Alex, how you doing today, man?
Doing great, enjoying the sunny weather out here in Lake Bluff, Illinois. There's been a slight reprieve to the weather too, so it's a good day so far.
When you say it's been a slight reprieve, so my wife and I just got a puppy a couple weeks ago, and I'm the early morning walker with the dog. And I'll tell you, last week was a lot funner to walk the dog than it was this week. But again, I'm from the Chicagoland area. This is I used to wear shorts in this weather when I was younger, so I'll make it through. But really glad you got a chance to sit down with us here today. I'm really interested to hearing about your story. I know I've got some factoids about you, but I don't like to spit those out. I like you to tell me. But could you kind of break down a little bit, where you grew up and, just some of your family dynamics?
Yeah. So I grew up in Highland Park, Illinois.
Okay.
I was born in Park Ridge at Lutheran General Hospital.
Okay.
I am a twin, hence the name Twice is Fit.
Love it.
And growing up, I went to Highland Park High School. I engaged in a lot of sports, specifically soccer and outdoor activities like roughhousing with my neighbors.
Yes.
That was a big part of my growing up. And as I was growing up, I really liked studying. I really liked helping people. And I knew that I couldn't really sit behind a desk. And those are kind of some of my beginnings. And currently, I'm living in Lake Bluff, Illinois.
Okay. Awesome. And can you tell me a little bit about your family dynamics? I kind of feel like you got a little fun little tidbit about yourself that might be a little bit more unique than others.
Oh yeah, this rabbit hole goes a little bit deep, so buckle up. So I have an identical twin, as I mentioned, but I also was adopted at birth. And growing up, I grew up with Mike and Elisa Courtney. My parents loved them to death. Shout out to them.
Love it.
I grew up with an older sister. She's 11 years older. So by the time she was kind of coming of age, she was already out of the house.
Sure.
So it was mainly me and my brother. But being adopted at birth, naturally me being curious, about 4.5 years ago, I actually met my birth mom.
Oh, wow.
And I had a brother and I have a sister, who's ironically named Alex too. We can get into that too a little bit. So yeah, to say the least, it's a pretty interesting family dynamic. And a fun fact is, I actually have 2 birth certificates with 2 different names, and I'm a twin, so it gets pretty deep.
Wow. So what inspired you? You said you were naturally curious, but takes a lot from people that are adopted to kind of seek that biological parent out. What do you think where did that kind of come from? Why do you think you were inspired to do so?
My parents growing up, they really did a great job of instilling values.
Yep.
And also giving us the structure that we needed to really thrive, my brother and I. And they told us from a very young age that we were adopted. And obviously when you're young, like, you only understand so much.
Sure.
but I find that it really planted this natural curiosity in me, which is one of the reasons why I started a business. But what really pushed me is in 2012, I was working out of Equinox over in Highland Park, and I was doing my thing. I was working with a client, and some guy just like came up to me, like out of the blue. He's like, "I like how you train. I want to train with you. I want to see you on Monday at 10." I'm like, "Wow, that was the easiest sale I've ever had. Okay,
Right.
cool. Like, awesome."
Sure. Yeah.
And like push comes to shove as I'm evaluating him, he tells me that he was in the special care unit at Lutheran General as an OBGY delivering high risk cases. And
Okay.
my mother was considered a high risk case. She was 17. We ended up being C-sectioned. And that like really I was like, huh. And that really kind of pushed me to dive a little bit further. And when I asked my parents about it, they gave me all this information. They said, "We were waiting for you to really ask us. We didn't want to just throw it on you. We know it's heavy and it can be heavy." But my brother wasn't as interested to meet them then. So that kind of held me back. And but then when 2020 rolled around and the whole world changed,
Yes, it
it
did.
really was one of the catalysts for me to really seek it out. And that was kind of like the icing on the cake for me to go and find her.
And what was that like, Alex, when you had the opportunity to meet her?
It brought me a lot of peace in my heart.
You bet.
Um, it answered a lot of questions that I'd been asking. It also helped me answer the question nature versus nurture. By the way, it's both for anybody who's still wondering.
Amen
But
to that. I'm a psychology guy. I could not agree more, by the way. But yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and but it was also pretty painful. And I felt a lot of guilt and like almost survival's guilt
Mm,
because I saw that my family lived in a certain way and I was given all these opportunities and they weren't.
mm,
So I had a lot of survivor's guilt and how I dealt with it is I really did my best to show up for my family, my biological family, and make them a part of my life and get to know them.
mm.
That even led me to helping my sister who had a home unassisted birth. I connected with her with my girlfriend, a girl at the time. She's now my girlfriend, but she's done a lot of birth work
Okay.
and she's had 7 kids. So she did a lot of natural birth. So I connected with my sister in that way. I wanted to show them without like being um, not feeling overbearing. I wanted to meet them where they were at and really provide some of the experience that I had in a new environment. And that was it's been pretty uncomfortable in some cases, to be honest.
I will say I obviously we have different stories here, but I lost my father when I was 18 years old, and that was almost. I don't want to tell everybody my age, but it was over 30 years ago. I'll tell you that. And I, what's been really cool in my history, just really quick, just to kind of meld some things, is my mother had the opportunity to meet another man who she's been married to now for 20 plus years, and I've just really always respected so much how this gentleman welcomed my brother and I into his world, and became paternal to us and stuff, and just had always had so much respect for him. The reason actually I'm saying that is I can tell just by hearing you tell this story how much respect you have for your adoptive parents, how much respect you have for them to raise you, to teach you, and to share with you, and to be really open and honest with you. And I think that's really beautiful, Alex. And I'm sure you feel the same way about them, but it's just coming off how much love you have for them. And I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Just wanted to share that with you real quick. So you graduated high school. So what did you decide to start doing? Did you go on to college? Did you go anywhere for school after that?
Yeah, when I first got into college, I was originally going to go into criminal justice
Okay.
because I knew I wanted to help people and provide and serve. But I realized pretty quickly that I didn't want to serve in that type of environment.
Mm,
I didn't want to be in that emergency situation environment all the time. It
sure.
felt like it would really drain me, and I find myself to be pretty empathic. So I didn't want to help people in that way.
Mm,
So I um, I went to community college first. I went to CLC,
okay.
and I got a lot of general education. And as I started going through general education, I was at the same time really getting into fitness, specifically exercise.
Okay.
I'd been an athlete my whole life. I always was active, and I did a little bit of exercise in high school with the football team. But
Okay.
one of my best friend's older brothers, he really got me into it. And he really motivated me because this guy had like the biggest arms.
Nice. Nice. That'll do it.
Yeah, and I remember he was a really good mentor to me because he was 6 years older, so kinda like a big brother, and,
Nice.
then from there, I moved to the city and I started going to North Park because I found that they had an exercise sciences program, and I thought that that fit the bill perfectly, so
Sure.
I got my degree, my BS in exercise sciences.
Okay. Beautiful. So, and it's kind of led you to what you and your brother are doing right now, obviously, with that exercise background, obviously. So, what made your brother and you decide to open up this business?
Mm.
Twice Fit Squared, and I love the name of it. I mean, especially being a twin and stuff like that. That's such a cool way to kind of bring everything together. But what made you guys decide? You know what? Let's do this on our own. Let's not work for someone else. Let's work for ourselves. And what led you down this path?
Yeah, so at our graduation party in 2012, we were with our oldest friend, and we grew up on the block with him. And he was another one of our mentors. And what he did on our the graduation party is he wanted to give us a gift, and the gift was an idea. And the idea was that we do our own thing, and
Nice. It's good.
we we do something a little bit different. And he saw something in us that we didn't want to necessarily sit behind a desk. And how can we really excel our gifts? And at that graduation party, all of our friends were around, and someone came up with the name Twice as Fit, and that's where it really started. And
Okay.
as I got into the industry, I did a lot of personal training at North Park University, at the YMCA.
Okay.
I did a whole full on internship at the physical therapy clinic over
Okay.
at Swedish Covenant, and again, I started noticing that. Um, the plan of care was very streamlined, and I found that it wasn't really addressing people's deep issues. And
Huh.
to to level the playing field a little bit, like, I know that a lot of these people had advanced disease states, and as we know, like, when people are in those advanced disease states, it is hard to heal.
Sure.
But Sean and I, as we were personal training, we realized that a lot of people were getting better just by hearing them and
Hmm.
evaluating them and actually understanding what their real problems were,
Huh.
integrating lifestyle into it, and most importantly, giving people a space to feel heard and to
Uh,
communicate and suss out ideas and emotions in their body.
I love that. I love that. It's kind of like psychology and exercise science at the same time, sort of a blending of so. Um, and how long ago have how when was it that you and your brother decided to start this business?
So we started it in May of 2012, and
Okay.
then we went completely independent in May of 2015.
Oh wow. Okay. So you've been doing this for like 10 years or so. What what have you guys had to deal with? I mean, it's not always easy to start a business. So what sort of issues have you had to kind of go through in order to kind of continue to move forward and make this a successful business?
I'd say it's more on the business side since Sean and I were teachers and practitioners first.
Nice.
So getting our culture, our mission, our vision, our offerings and delivery, that's really been pretty easy, honestly.
Okay.
But it's been more the business side, the admin things, keeping up with things, keeping operations going, hiring the right people. Um, but it's been helpful since I evaluation is one of the key skills, that I do deliver on. It
Okay.
has been helpful understanding business, and it's given me a leg up in that sense, but it's been pretty difficult finding out how to run operations, how to wear all the hats, how to delegate hats. That's absolutely been the hardest part.
That will always be there, right? But you just got to keep moving forward. You actually have worked with somebody that's been on our show before, so I don't want to neglect to mention that No Sugar Mama, Lori from No Sugar Mama, who's was on our show last season, but certainly a big advocate of what we do, and we love her. Um, how is it that you ended up meeting Lori?
Hmm. So Lori and I, we met back in 2017, and we met through our a mutual chiropractor.
Okay.
And we met, and I remember immediately, I was in Mundelein at my friend's, and I was hanging out with him and his daughter, and I got the call from her, and I went out and I talked to her, and I'm like, "This is only gonna be like a 5-10 minute call, and I'll get her in
No,
for a session," and then it
sure.
turned into like an hour and a half call, and my buddy's like, "Where the heck did Alex go?" Yeah. She we, yeah, we've really developed a great relationship, and she's such an inspiration to me because she was a great example of, you know, you're doing something for so long, but you're actually listening to the request for change in your body. And
Mm.
out of her big transformation, she started a business.
She's amazing, and her products are really good too, by the way. But she's such an amazing person. I love. She's got such a wonderful spirit. She's a big supporter of us, and she has a really cool connection with my wife too, which I'm always a fan of. I'm a big fan of joy, and she provides joy to my wife, and I guess me as well. But that's good. But other than Lori, like, how are you guys kind of getting the word out there as far as what you're doing, and how are you, bringing people to the party?
Hmm. Well, there's a few different ways to get to the party, as we know. There's phone calls, there's
Yeah.
driving, there's Uber, there's train. Um, so we're
Well done. I love that, Alex. Well done, Alex. You don't know, but that's right up my humor scheme. By the way, I'm the king of dad jokes. So continue on, please.
I love it. Um, yeah, no, we a lot of the times it's word of mouth.
Okay.
That's been a big mainstay for us. But as of recent, in the last few years, we've joined the Chamber of Commerce in Lake Forest, Lake Bluff.
Nice.
And that's been a great way to connect with like minded professionals as well as
Absolutely.
referring business. We're on social media, specifically Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube.
Okay.
Those are the main channels that we connect with our clients on.
Beautiful. Yeah, and we are also part of the chamber out here in Algonquin, Lake in the Hills, and boy, oh boy, it opens everything up. I mean, my wife's actually on the board too, by the way, but it opens everything up for you. You get to know of all the networking events that are happening. You get to know of all the um, times of business are starting up, and you kind of can meet people. So it's such a valuable tool. I would encourage everyone listening, if they have a business, join the Chamber of Commerce in your area, please. You'll be very well helped out. This industry you're in, and it's really kind of cool. Once again, of what you're doing, because I know you're trying to heal people, but you're trying to heal people physically. But I really love the fact that you're kind of also kind of healing people emotionally at the same time. And it seems to be sort of part of who you are, and that curiosity and that purpose and that desire to want to help people and want to do good in this world, which is aligned with what our show is trying to provide everyone. But how have you seen things change in the last 11 years that you and Sean have been doing this?
Mm. There's been a lot of changes. The more, I guess, superficial changes I've noticed is there's more telehealth. It's more accessible across the planet, which I absolutely love. I have clients from around the world,
Oh, wow.
most mostly in the United States, but I have some clients in Europe, specifically Israel.
Hmm,
So that's a big change. Um, the other change I've noticed, and this is a big one, is when Sean and I started, there were certain things that we had to kind of be hush hush about. And it's because I noticed that there was like this whole stigma around holistic health and like alternative methods. So we um we kind of had to be hush hush and be mindful about how we shared certain things. And what I've noticed now is that all of it's out online,
sure.
and like the conversation has completely shifted, and I really appreciate that. And as I started noticing that, I found it was a big win because I find for a while there's only a few things that were the correct way to heal or the correct way to get better, and everything else was labeled as taboo, or this doesn't work, or this is nonsense or quackery. So that's been a huge shift in the industry that I've noticed.
Have you and Sean used AI at all regarding your business? It's obviously been such a hot topic for such a long time here, but and I guess what sort of ways are you able to use some of those tools?
My chatbot is his name is Stratton, which is a
Strat.
combination of strategy and action.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought his name was Scranton, and you were a fan of the TV show The Office. But okay, so Stratton, I like that. Oh my goodness, Alex! I'm telling you, Alex, we're gonna have to meet in person one of these days. I love what you're doing there. Um, so how have you been able to use the AI tool to be to implement it into your business?
So most of all, I utilize Stratton for data,
Okay,
specifically research, and also synthesizing my ideas. I I would say that I use him as an assistant, or her, or it. I use it as an assistant to really organize and amalgamate information. I find that AI kind of got released at a really good time because Sean and I, we've had our vision, our mission, our purpose. So we're not really about having it do our thinking. We'd
sure.
rather it have it synthesize information and collaborate with us as an assistant.
Love it. I love it. That's great. Um, I love that. That's really great. You've when did you and Sean realize that this is going to work? What we're throwing out there in the world, people are really receiving this. Like, when did that kind of? Everybody starts a business. Everybody has these desires. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to provide something in this world, hopefully to help and not hurt others, of course. But when did it kind of really come into tune with you guys that boy, oh boy, man, this that we are doing what we were meant to be doing here?
Okay, we're gonna go an extra level and layer deeper. You ready for it?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it. I mean, that's what he said. Oh, go ahead, please.
Ooh, okay. And to start off that extra layer, I live on Scranton Avenue in Lake Bluff. Okay,
Oh my goodness, I love it.
we-
That's
we'll
great.
we'll put that to the side. We'll keep that low key.
Okay.
What when we when we really started noticing is that people who came to us who had chronic degenerative disease states, chronic pains and injuries, specifically back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain,
Sure.
those very much specifically, they were getting a lot better. And what was interesting is, like, you sometimes think like, "Oh, I'm helping people," but, like, I'm talking about, like, there's this one individual who came to me and he couldn't walk
Mm.
after back surgery for more than 3 minutes without having extreme back pain.
Oh,
And just after 6 months of training, he was able to walk every day for an hour. He was able
mm,
to ride his bike every other day for about 2 hours. He
it's
was
beautiful.
exercising and doing yoga. And when we started getting the feedback from our students and our clients, we're just like, "Oh my gosh," like, and what they would say is like, "Hey, like, why didn't my doctor tell me this?" Like, and
Mm.
they get low key, like, frustrated and annoyed, like, "Why did I have to come to a personal trainer to learn this?" And, that's when we really realized, like, we could really make a difference and we're really making a difference.
That's beautiful. Well, you are making a difference, obviously. And, when you can match your passion with your practice, I think you are doing everything where you're meant to do in this world. And you can tell. You can tell with how passionate you are, Alex. It's really a cool thing to see. Um, there's got to be some folks out there that that stand out to you, right? As like someone you've helped, and I'm sure you got a ton, but I'd like you to kind of tell us a nice little feel good story about someone you were able to really help out there. That every day, if you're having a bad day, you think about this person or persons, and it just puts a big old smile on your face, and it kind of really ignites that flame that exists of doing what you're doing.
Mm. So, do you want me to tell you someone who's a little bit younger, older, or something that's really gonna hit home?
Well, I am the hit. Listen, I was a baseball player by trade. I know you said soccer, but I want to get hit. I want to hit it, and I want to land at home. So let's do that one if you don't mind, Alex.
I'd say Lori from No Sugar Mama.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Very inspiring to me because she was living the conventional 9 to 5, and she listened to her body, and she was experiencing a crisis, and she did something about it, and she found different alternatives. She had all the breakdowns, she went through the painful discovery, and, she completely turned it around, and now
Mm,
she's in better shape than she was for most of her adult life and her older late in her latter stages of being in corporate. And, that one sticks out specifically because I think it's very relatable for people. And I think that when the work gets really difficult, because it does in healing, there's just no way around it. When we can
absolutely.
f when we can find people where it's really relatable and it helps give us hope and courage. Not only that, she started a business out of it. I can't help but think, selfishly maybe, that part of her healing and transformation, it led her to starting a business because she wanted to make a difference. And so to see that purpose, that vision get reignited in her, absolutely breathtaking. And it reminds me why I do what I do.
I believe you're a movie star too when it comes to Lori. Isn't that correct?
Just a little bit.
Pretty cool. I know Neha saw that movie and was very impressed. And just the fact that you're playing a part of Lori's story fills me with joy. And I'm a big fan of joy for sure. Well, now you already kind of you ruffled my feathers in a positive way. Give me another one. Yeah, we already mentioned Lori. Lori's so beautiful. Everybody knows that. She's such a wonderful person. But young or old or wherever you want to go, give me another one of those people that really stick to you, Alex.
So as of recent, one of my clients had a really big win, and he really started taking on work with one of my colleagues first, who does more mental side of things, and then I met him through him, and from there, he's 30. He's like in his early 30s, 30 or 31, and he started doing some personal training with me,
Hmm.
and what he told me about his transformation was is he used to be a person that used to stick to himself. He didn't put his ideas out there, and he would always overanalyze, and he would never take action. And from his time with personal training and movement, it's helped him really put himself into gear in his life. And
Hmm.
so much so that I felt so touched, moved, and inspired by two things that he's done. One, he's really been a big part of one of the projects I'm working on called Young Kings Universe, where we host monthly men's masterminds. He's shown up to all of them for the past year and a half. And him and I are actually about to drop a Twice as Fit e guide where we collaborated on it together based on his feedback and data. And I'm actually going to have him be a part of it for the video demonstration. We're going to be working on it and jamming out on it like that. So,
That's
um,
awesome.
again, people really, I notice that when people really take on this work powerfully and like honestly, the whole world opens up to possibilities.
What can you tell us a little bit about that monthly conference you got going on? What is that? What's that all about?
So it's called Young Kings Universe, and it's really to help men develop their leadership skills,
Okay.
specifically young men in this age of AI. And we have a school membership page where Carlos and I, who started Young Kings Universe, we published a book last year,
No,
and the blueprint is in there. And it's really focusing on shadow work, physical work, professional work, and social work to really help young men develop their skills. We noticed that there is a huge crisis, especially amongst young men,
mm,
that has really come to be. And we wanted to really provide a space for them to develop their skills. Specifically, in addition to that book, we have these weekly and monthly masterminds where we share wins and challenges. We have certain topics like legacy, going through grief, so that young men can really develop their skill of listening, communication, negotiation, debating a little bit. And that's been a really big passion project of mine as of recent since I want to say like August 2024.
that's beautiful. Is that a virtual meetup or is that something that people meet at you at a brick and mortar location?
Yeah, it's virtual.
It's virtual. Okay. Hey, I think one of the greatest things that happened, and again, my life was much different when COVID first happened, but one of the best things that happened with COVID is we have figured out that we can still reach others virtually at a level that we are never able to kind of piece together prior to that. And I think that there's always good with bad. And obviously, I don't wish that we would go through another pandemic again, but I do think that you can reach a bigger audience with these kind of things. Now, I've got a good friend of mine who is a twin. His name is Aaron, and his brother's name is Andrew. To be honest, I thought Sean was going to be starting with an A as well, or something. But you guys went a little different route there. But I know there's a point of contention here, so I want you to let me know which one of you guys is older. Alex, is it you or Sean?
It's Sean by 2 minutes, but our running joke is that I'm actually older, and the only reason why he's older is because I kicked him out and he pulled me out.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Does Sean? Do you guys live close to each other? Obviously, you guys are running a business together, so I assume he's around your area as well.
Yeah, he lives a few towns over in Highland Park.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And you obviously have a great relationship with him, which I think is great. Um, Alex, I really appreciate you on so many different levels. I really, again, when you can match, I'm going to say it again so we can clip it, but when you can match your passion with your practice, you're doing something in this world. And we started this show because we wanted to highlight people that are doing good in this world, and to say that someone such as yourself that's trying to heal people, and there's so many extensions of healing, right? But you're really trying to help people. I think it's very honorable, and really appreciative that we had a chance to talk to you and chance to meet you. And if I do get a chance to see you in person, I want to hear some more of those corny jokes, because I feel like you got plenty of them, just like myself. But bottom of my heart, Alex, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Really appreciate you. And hopefully everybody gets a chance to learn more about your business, and you get a chance to help more people out there. Okay.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me today. This has been a pleasure, and looking forward to seeing you all next time.
Awesome. You take care of yourself, brother.
Take care.